everyone. I am Tanvi, and welcome to Life and Stories. So, we are back again with a very interesting theme for today, which is living your passion. And to talk about the same, we have a diva with me, a beautiful Indian woman right now in Paris who is a classic blend of beauty and talent. She's a mother, she's a painter, she's a dancer. And what inspires me the most is her dedication towards her inner voice, her passion, which I feel is something we all need to revisit in our lives to understand the real meaning of our existence. So, over to you, Poonam Bhabi. We are really, really eager to understand your story, your background, your struggle, your recognitions, your journey from Kolkata to Paris. Your spiritual side, and whatever you feel you want to share with this forum so that we really learn whatever you have learned already. So, over to you.
Thank you so much, Tanu. Wow, what a beautiful introduction. Yeah. Thank you. Um I'm very honored to be able to speak about my journey, and thank you for giving me this platform to be able to speak about it. I'll start with where I started from in life, I guess. So I've been born in Calcutta. So Calcutta itself, as a city, is a very artsy city. Like hum sabke paas, everybody had a tabla teacher, a harmonium teacher, an art teacher. Because if you've heard of Durga Puja, it's embedded in our system, art. So I was born in Calcutta. I got very lucky there. Then I was also born in a family of artists. Tanu. So my entire family, khandan of my mom and my dad's side, they were into printing of saris. So I grew
Wow.
up with that smell of paint. I grew up talking to my father about, color combinations. It wasn't ever math in the house. It was always colors. It was always colors and how the designs looked. And that's how I grew up. In fact, to a point where my mom would actually let me paint the doors, paint the chote the yaar, we were so young, like 10 years old. I would bunk school, stay in the house and paint the ceiling, or paint the door, or paint the window. And I didn't know that this wasn't normal, because of my mother, because of the support from my mother. I think mama was also very used to being around artists. And when she saw this spark in me, she saw ki creative hai, this girl is super creative, and so she would always buy me art supplies and give it to me and say, it's okay, we all know you're not going to become a mathematician. So, you know, take the thing and
So
create.
happy.
Really, I mean, I think when you're in your formative years, when you're so young, what can parents do for you? Yeah, I mean, if they see a spark in you, the only thing they can do is open more doors, give you more supplies so that you can create more. And I was very lucky that I got that from my mom and dad. So that's huge. As a girl in India, I'm 39 now. I was born in 83. It wasn't normal. Yeah, we were always. My mom never told me कि घर में बैठ के, learn to cook, and so that you can grow up and take care of a man, which was huge back then. Yeah, Tanu, which is
Of
I
course.
think, which is like a story of all Indian women at the moment. I'm sure things are changing, but back then I know what I got was very precious. I got the support of my parents. So then I went to
So,
school. I also was a sports girl of school. So sports and creativity were two of my things, and dancing. I was never a huge a science student, or a big. I would get by. I was a good student, but that's not where my interest was. So I think when around standard 10, when you have to take commerce, and you have to take like other arts and science, I very well knew that I wanted to learn human psychology. I wanted to do. So I was very clear in my head. Lots of other people are taking, accounts and science. And I was like, no, I know that I'm not going to be able to do anything here. So that clarity was very, very much in the system since when I was young. And I think that helped me a lot to take a decision. When you grow up, you're 18 years old, and there's so much pressure in your head to pick up something. वो clarity बहुत बहुत बचपन से आ गई थी. So then I thought I'm gonna, I loved clothes, I loved colors, I loved experimenting with my own clothes. So I said, it was easy for me to pick up fashion. So I studied at NIFT, National Institute of Fashion Technology, and I studied fashion there, which was fabulous actually, because my dad was into printing of saris. I had I had a lot of support. And I did very well those 3 years. I worked so hard, yeah, from stitching a shirt to stitching a suit to stitching a suit to stitching like everything possible under the sun. Worked very, very hard, enjoyed a lot, learned a lot. got awarded by APJ Abdul Kalam. I got the best design collection in NIFT in Calcutta, and I couldn't believe it. I did very, very well. I couldn't. I mean, those are the days. I'm now thinking about it, and I still feel so good. Hard work paid off then. And then very
Actually.
quickly, I met the love of my life. I met my soulmate, which is your brother, Nitin. So I
Yes.
met him, and very quickly we decided to come to Paris. Like, it just, everything fell in place, right? I was in Bombay. I had my first job. I was working, independent girl out of Calcutta. All of that happened. Met your brother, my soulmate. Got married very quickly. And then he said, Chalo, let's go to Paris. I want to do my MBA. Would you like to tag along with me? So I said, who says no to Paris? I've just studied fashion. I said, Chalo, jhande gaadenge Paris mein chal ke, we're going to do some fun stuff. So I, of course, followed him to Paris, thinking I'm going to get a very cool job at a Galliano or one of the biggest fashion brands. And
Mhm.
little did I know, Tanu, when I came here, I realized language nahi aati hai. I don't know how to take care of
Yeah.
the house. Nobody recognizes me. Like in India, there is such a big support system. You feel like you're something. When you come away to live in a country where you don't even speak the language, you realize you're nothing. So you have to start from
Right.
scratch. Forget
Mhm.
getting a job. मैं directions पा रही हूँ, I'm not being able to ask for directions. So I am feeling dumb at every level, thinking, oh my God, like where have I come?
I know.
Job तो बड़ी दूर
Right.
की बात थी, because nobody would give a job to someone who does not speak in French. That is the first prerequisite if you're living here and doing a job here in France. I've been here 14 years, by the way, now. Now I speak perfect
Wow.
French. But I
Awesome.
remember, sorry, Tanu, did you say something?
No, 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 nothing. Yeah,
हाँ.
please go ahead. It's so interesting. It's just like
तो
beautiful.
यहाँ
Go
आके
ahead, go ahead.
इतने ऊपर, I was in such a high. I got this award, many awards. I'm doing very well. Suddenly यहाँ से dham, and I'm what, 23 आता नु. Everybody is
Yes.
doing so well around me. Like everyone's got a job, they're doing well, and I'm sitting in Paris. I can't even go from one place to the other because I don't speak the language. So I'm like, dude, you've got to start. And there is no Darwanji, driver G taking someone, plumber taking care of, koi leakage. सब कुछ bulb भी खुद लगाना पड़ता है. You've got to do everything yourself. Everything. खाना बनाने से,
Yes.
taking care of the house. And we didn't know any of this in India. We always have help. So I remember I got through
Yes.
and I had just lost my dad around that time too. And I was very close to my dad. Like I said, we used
Yes.
to have some
Yes.
great artistic conversations, but he had cancer, he passed
Mhm.
away. So very
Right.
early on in my life, I saw all of this. So at 23, I was at the rock bottom, Tanu. And
Mhm.
I remember, जब मैं उधर थी, उस समय your brother, my husband, he got me a canvas, and he said, there is so much that you have to give. You've got to take out all your emotions on this canvas. Don't take it out on me. I was making his
Play
life
safe.
living. I think he called me to Paris, and now I have nothing to do. I don't have work permit, and I don't speak the language. Blah blah blah. So he got me this
Of course. Yeah.
canvas, Anu, and I started painting. I had never painted on a canvas before. I had painted all my life, but it had never dawned on me in India that I could become an artist. Because again, this term artist back then, I'm 39, like I said, it wasn't something that was heard of even. Like a fashion designer, yes, but an artist, I'd never even thought that I could actually buy canvases and make art and sell art. I just did not think कि ये हो सकता है. So then he got me the canvas. What I did was I started painting, and I started realizing it was great. It was a great therapy for me because I was putting out all my emotions on the canvas, and I didn't think कि बिकेगा या नहीं बिकेगा. I was just aimlessly, agenda less. I was constantly creating, creating, creating. Now some of my friends
Wow.
saw me, my husband saw me. They said, "These are great works. Why don't you do an exhibition?" So I said, how do I do an exhibition? I don't know. By this time, I'd learned a little bit of French. So one of my friends found the gallery for me, and she said, it's a small gallery. It was in the center of Paris. She said, why don't we you do an exhibition and you see? You don't have to do anything, but why don't you see what happens? What comes out of it? We called all our friends, friends of friends. We called everybody we knew. Now, exhibition lag gayi. I think there were about 18 to 20 pieces. Choti si gallery, a beautiful gallery, but and lots of friends, friends of friends, everybody came to support me. I actually sold 5 paintings at around this time. I sold 5 paintings, which
Wow.
was huge for me. I did not I did not expect anything. You know, जो चीज़ बिना सोचे आप करते हो, you don't think about it. You're like, just I want to do it for the passion of it, for the love for it, you know. And around all of this time, I was very sure that, like I said, I was not meant for a 9 to 5 job. I am an artist. I've always felt like one. This is something that I couldn't, even if I wasn't doing well in life around this time, I couldn't take a decision of going somewhere else. So anyway, this exhibition happened. I sold 5 paintings. This is when I realized I can do this. Matlab, if people are buying my works, they must have found something. Kuch to dekha hoga, you know, something they must have seen. So
Right.
then, Anu, I little by little, learning the language, making more paintings in the house, in the living room, you know, to from there to getting an art studio in Paris, doing more exhibitions. I started giving dance lessons because I was not selling enough to make enough money to be able to live off it. So, you know, little by little, I have had so many doubts during this journey, Tanu. It has not been easy at all. I mean, which journey, which gives you back, is that easy, right? None of our journeys are easy, you know. But I remember वो छोटी छोटी चीजें, starting one class, you know, one Bollywood dance class, selling one painting here, jumping on opportunities like going on to festivals and doing free body painting just so that people know that there is an artist that, you know, that is there. To coming to a point, I think it's been a decade, 8 to 9 years since I've been painting. And now I have an exhibition going on where I've been invited by the government of France. I have an art studio that I pay for, you know, close to home. I'm selling works. People are coming to me. And I swear to you, Tanu, I never thought I would reach here. I think the one thing that I kept doing was, even if I was down in the dumps, I kept picking myself up and I kept doing what I love to do, which is creating. So, yeah.
Beautiful. And you mentioned, like, so your paintings are being displayed in different exhibitions. So I think there was one of this instance wherein even our like Narendra Modi ji, he was in Paris, and your painting was the background of it. Can you, do you want to share something
Yeah, wow.
around that?
Again, 2015 and I think 2018 when he was in Paris, I got a call from. So, like I said, I'm a very people's person, Tanu. So, the one
Yeah.
time, you know, when I got this idea that I'm being able to sell and I'm being able to, so what I did was I started going for these networking events. I started going to meet people to, you know, to show that I'm here. I'm an artist, I'm an Indian artist, and I live here. And it always works, right? You meet people, word of mouth, you exchange their energy, they've seen you, you know, they think of you. So I remember around this time they were looking for an Indian artist to create the backdrop for Narendra Modi ji when he was here.
Yeah.
And they got in touch with me, and I had a couple of meetings, and I got through. You know, they gave me this whole thing of doing the backdrop. It was happening at the Louvre, which is one of the biggest museums of the world. So Louvre, mein, there is a beautiful conference room where Narendra Modi ji would come. And yeah, little by little, you know, I feel like all of these opportunities I kept grabbing. I kept, like, you know, putting in my best out there, and I actually got an opportunity to do it twice, to make the backdrop for Narendra Modi ji when he was here. So I was working with the ambassador of India around this time, and I got a chance to go to, you know, one of the things that happened with me, Tanu. Rudra was my son, who's now 10 years old. Rudra was about 8 months or 12 months. And I remember I got this opportunity. So one of a Pakistani artist called me and she said, you know, there is this, through UNESCO, there is this art residency that's going on right now. And I think you should apply representing India. Like, if you want to represent
Hmm.
India, you can apply for it.
Right.
In Jaipur. So again, I've just given birth. But what lovely family that I am blessed to have, my sasural, you know, my in-laws, they have always pushed
Yeah.
me. You know, the moment they saw that I'm doing things, they're like, "Beta, go. We'll take care of the child. Go." My husband supporting here. You know, mother-in-law, father-in-law, everybody standing up here like this to support me through this journey. And I remember Rudra's 8 months old, and I'm like, "Should I apply for it?" I did. I applied for the art residency. I got through. Now the problem was I was having trouble getting a signature from the UNESCO people in Paris. And I remember I ran around 3 months to get this. I think the one thing I don't do is I don't give up. Marna hai, I'm dying here. Everybody's rejecting me. Rejection, rejection, rejection. I'm like, I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna get through this. And I did get through. Like after 3 months, I got the signature from a very, very nice man, at UNESCO who actually signed the papers for me. Then we went to a principality called Andorra. Andorra is a small principality between स्पेन एंड फ्रांस. तो यहाँ पे वो आर्ट रेसिडेंसी हो रही थी where 30 big recognized artists representing their countries, they worked together for 2 weeks. We had to create works, we have to create 3 paintings, and it became a permanent part of the UNESCO collection. So I feel, yeah, this Narendra Modi and this UNESCO where I could go and create these 3 paintings, these were the stepping stones. These were very big opportunities in my artist career. Just being able to work with 30 different artists around the world taught me so much, Tanu. मेरे को पता भी नहीं था, how does the canvas work? How do you stretch the canvas? What if there is a hole in the canvas? How are you going to fix it? Which paints to use? All of that I've taught myself. All of that, little by little, YouTube, meeting other people, meeting other artists, I've taught myself कि अच्छा ऐसे होता है, ऐसे होता है, this is where you buy the stuff from, this is how you seal a painting, this is how. It's crazy. It's been a fabulous journey.
Amazing. So, like, Bhavi, you have. What I understood is you had always this really big support system, be it your family, be it your new family. Uh, Tell me, how did you deal with people or our society again, where art is not of that value, maybe in Kolkata, as you said, definitely art is very much there. It is
Art
like
is ingrained, but
something you
I
give
wish
weightage to.
art was respected more, Tanu. I think that's what you're saying. And it's the
Yes,
biggest truth of
yes.
an artist's life, especially being born and brought up in India. Don't get me wrong, I think I owe so much to India for the creativity that I have inside of me and the spirituality that it has opened up to me. At the same time, Tanu, it is so difficult because thankfully I got the support from my immediate parents, which was already a huge deal, Tanu. Like I said, not too many people get
Of
this.
course.
But
Yeah.
even when in India, I would tell people, when they'd ask me, uncles and aunties, who meet you once in
Yeah.
6 months, उसके बाद उनको कोई मतलब नहीं होता, but वो मिलते हो, बेटा करते क्या हो? And then I'm like, अंकल मैं आर्ट बनाती हूँ. नहीं 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 बेटा करते क्या हो? अंकल मैं डांस करती हूँ. अरे नहीं नहीं करते क्या? This
Yeah, yeah, of course.
this is so common. Like it's like you said, I wish art was respected enough for people to understand that art carries lifelike energies of the artist. Matlab, when I'm making art, Tanu, I am clearly, I have no control over what I'm making. I'm obviously open to something bigger than me. You can call it the source, the universe, God. But I know that I'm connected to something, and through me, some energy flows which I
It's just
put to the
flowing.
canvas. तो वो कैनवस,
Perfect.
हर आर्टिस्ट की कैनवस बहुत, it's living, and I think this itself, if people in India understand, they'll start to respect art. Having an art piece in the house is living. You make a relationship with this piece. It carries lifelike energies of the artists, who've made it. So for it, it's a meditative piece of work, in the house, because you're in focus when the artist creates something. Creation is everything. Creation is evolution. So it is a meditative piece of work which you're constantly interacting with, whether you know it or not. तो ये चीज लोग, I think we are still a little farther away to understand this about artists, and I hope and pray that things are changing and things will change. But the one thing that helped me, Tanu, like you said, I got out of India very quickly, and I came to a place which is a mecca of art. मतलब यहाँ पे जब मैं आई ना, तनु, trust me, I would like to say this, in, I still have trouble accepting a compliment, for example, because जब मैं यहाँ बोलती हूँ लोगों को कि I'm an artist, their reaction is the exact opposite of what I used to get in India. They look at me and they're like,
Yeah.
wow, really? That respect for me is everything, Tanu. So a lot of
Of
healing of
course.
this trauma that I carried, that I was not good enough in India. You don't even realize you carry this trauma because everybody around you is either a lawyer or a banker or on their way to becoming an engineer or to get a big job. You're surrounded by people like this. You you end up feeling less than. So this really helped me. मतलब यहाँ Paris एक तो support system of immediate parents and to be in a place where art is respected. So I think that itself gave me a lot of motivation. And another thing was यहाँ पे मुझे Indian rules follow नहीं करने पड़े या French rules follow नहीं करने पड़े because I was, I'm an Indian. So I'm an
Right.
Indian living away from India. So that really helped. Also, having said this, it's never easy, yaar. I think artists have their own doubts. Like I said, we are not surrounded by the world is not full of artists. The world is full of corporates. And I have respect for them. And capitalism has been going on for 500 years for a reason. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but I knew that my path wasn't the same as the others. And I still have to remind myself, Tanu, every morning that my path is different. I have to believe in what I'm doing every day. Could change the UI, but I know that I'm being able to handle this better. I'm being able to believe in myself better because of all these opportunities coming my way. So I'm like, kuch to hoga, something that I'm doing right. And also my belief in the fact that we are all magicians, dude. Agar hum wo kare that we love, we can create magic. This is what I tell myself every morning when I wake up that करते जाना है, but कर्म करते जाना है.
I know.
Keep on doing what you love, and you will get what you deserve at one point, in divine timing, in the form that you deserve. So yeah.
So, Bhavya, I really love the way you brought art into life. And that was what I felt when I saw your body paintings. How easy was it for you to convert? As you said, first your canvas was a turning point for you. You have never done that before. So first it was canvas, okay, something which is non-living. You of course try to put life into it. But how did you just add colors to a life by doing the body painting? So, what triggered that? How comfortable were you? How comfortable were your the participants who gave their body as, I mean, they trusted you so much that they were like really open for you to paint them out for you. So, can you just share something about it?
It's
Yeah.
such an interesting story. Again, like I said, Paris opened many doors because I feel like इंडिया में हम सोचते भी नहीं है ऐसे. We don't think because you're not wearing clothes. I think that's where it begins from. Like the female model is not wearing enough clothes, and it's just something unheard of. So I remember when I came here and I'd started doing these shows, little events, and one of my friends, in fact, his name is Stefan. He's this photographer artist guy, right? So he called me one day, weird time, yeah. रात में 11 बजे he called me and he said, Poonam, I have an idea. I don't want a tattoo in my life because I don't want anything permanent in my life, but I want you to paint my arm for me so I can enjoy a design on my body. Would you do it? Now, this guy is a model as well, very confident. So I said, why don't we make an evening out of it? Why don't we call our friends, and we'll have some snacks and we'll have some drinks and you take photos of yourself with other people. So let me paint you and let me not paint just your arm, let me paint your half your body. So he said it's a great idea. So we turned this into this event where I said, I was painting and people reacted beautifully, Tanu. Again, for an artist, there is no, like, sky is also not the limit, yaar. I think ये जो केज में डाल देते हैं ना कि ये कैनवस पे पेंटिंग करना है, आप बॉडी पेंटिंग नहीं कर सकते हो. To be able to express my art on a living body, to be able to move my canvas around, to be able to see that this guy is enjoying getting painted as much as I'm enjoying painting him, the energy levels are another level. Tam. Both of us are like on a high without alcohol, without any kind of drugs. Huh? We are high on creativity only. Ki ye hum kar rahe hain. We are creating a moment together which is temporary. So we'll only have photos by the end of it. So I felt this extreme high. And this guy too, both of us are enjoying ourselves. People are loving taking photos. And there is also the shock value where people are like, wow, what is art? Art is done its job when it has created an emotion in you, any kind of emotion. Because what do artists do? We put in our emotions in art. Like for me, I'm the most emotional being I know. This is all I do. I'm constantly feeling feelings. And for me, if I repress it versus I express it, right, as an artist, no matter in what form, in art, music, cooking, any kind of form. Like I have many, many different hobbies. I just know that if I do not express these feelings, I'm gonna kill myself with all these emotions. Like I need to constantly create and constantly. So that was at an all-time high. And painting a live human being. So that energy was higher. Now all the friends, they loved it. They said, "Oh my God, this is so unique. This is so crazy." And I'm telling you, Tanu, after this, we started doing street shows. So this guy
Wow.
reacted again, like you said, it requires a lot of confidence and patience to be painted upon, to give your entire being to an artist. So obviously he had to trust me. The trust factor had to be there. Uske baad धीरे धीरे we started doing art, like outside on the streets. So यहाँ पे in Paris, people, musicians, for example, they're playing music, they keep a cap in front of you. If you like it, you get money from passers-by. And passers-by are genuinely very interested in art. Like I said, I was lucky that I could come to Paris where art is really and truly respected. Because people have the time, people understand art, people pay other artists to buy stuff or to, if they pay you on the streets. So I remember we collected 100 euros. 100 euros is like 8,000 rupees. So it paid for my paints. So I said, man, this is crazy. Like people are reacting.
Yeah.
I know I'm telling you, I didn't again give up because I think I was doing body painting not for money. I was doing body painting because of that high, to feel that high every time of creativity. More people started writing in touch with me. They were like, we want to post some photos on Instagram. Would you please, paint my face, paint this? So I remember doing it all for free. Then came along a time where a pregnant woman came to me and she said, would you paint my belly? And I'm like, oh my God, that's incredible. Like, that's another level, like, so I got non toxic
Absolutely.
paints. I'm feeling the baby move, being a mother myself. This is such a fabulous moment to, do photo shoot of this pregnant woman as a souvenir that they'll keep for the rest of their lives. So little by little, festivals started calling me, people started paying me for it, people started booking me for like, painting their baby bump. So that also
Yeah.
took its course. I had no idea, no expectation, no agenda. I think this is one thing I can say about my life. I don't know if this is good advice or bad advice, Tanu, but I've never followed a plan. I have always followed my intuition, always followed my heart. Like the moment I don't follow my heart, I know my entire body sinks. Like I know that this is it. More surprises coming in the way, going with the flow. Acha ye bhi aa raha hai, chalo kar lo. Acha koi baat nahi, mistake ho gayi, koi baat nahi, aage badho. Like pick up something else.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Wow.
body painting is such an important part of my life, dude. Still, and I think it'll forever be because I love doing this.
And the another side I like really love is your way to express yourself through dance.
Right.
So,
That we have in common,
what is
Tanu.
dance for you? What is dance for you? How are you doing this in Paris? How different you feel? Is it like making uh, people in Paris dance on Bollywood? So, what are their reactions? How do you feel? Just
It's
just share something.
It's incredible. So how I started dancing. So like I said, Tanu, when you're getting shut down, when the external world of your life does not match the internal world, because I did not have any other friend who was an artist in school, for example. So everybody would get together and talk about subjects where I was not interested in talking about language or subjects, or I was just interested in talking about human feelings. So when your inner world and outer world has not matched for the longest time, what do? You have escape mechanisms. Now, for me, thankfully, my escape mechanisms were sports, dance, because dance is where I could be everything that I wanted to be since a child. Like it gave me immense happiness, and I could role play what I wanted to be. Like the star that I wanted to be, that is the star that I was in my head. I could do all of that with dancing. The second thing is, which I realize now, is that it grounded me. It really grounded me. It got me close to Mother Nature. Little did I know of this then. I just kept doing it as a child. अब ज़्यादा सोचते नहीं हूँ. Whatever you like, you continue to do it. So I continued to dance. I continued to meet my dance teacher. I learned Bharatanatyam for 15 years. It brought me a lot of discipline. It brought me Happiness. I think dance brings me happiness. And now that I realize, it grounds me. As an artist, I can keep being in my imaginative world, keep being in the higher chakras, keep being in the cosmos. But it's very important for artists to ground themselves. And dance is one thing that grounds me. It brings me back to planet Earth. It brings me more realistic, realism in life. And so यहाँ पे आके, I had stopped dancing. I danced in parties, all of that happened. And I remember I was dancing on a Bhangra song for one of the parties where there were lots of French people. So they said, if you start a class, we are going to become your students. I said, promise, bolo. If you say, I'll start a class. Again, no plan, no agenda. They said, just start one class a week. I gave one class a week. Okay, even now, it's been 5 years. So I
Wow.
remember the next
Beautiful.
day I went to a gym and I got myself this room, and I said, if I have enough students who can pay off for this room ka rent, I will continue to dance because I love to dance and I love to share the joy of dancing. Tanu, again, I started with 3 students. I have given so many workshops at the moment. I have taught so many people at the moment. French people came with their hands and arms and hearts open to learn. A, उनके लिए बहुत exotic है ये. B, after the entire week of work, where morning से evening तक आप meeting में बैठे हो, even if the song in Bollywood is sad, we are like, hey, हम कितने like हम हंसते हैं. And even if the
Yes.
lyrics are sad, we are just laughing because it brings joy. And the French people came with their hearts open to learn this. And मेरा एक rule था. My rule was, there is no rule in this class. You watch me and you do a cover version of what you're seeing me do. So I was not here to perfect people. I said, this is a fun class where you let go, where you find yourself, where you find your own expression. आप मुझे देख रहे हो, I'm here to guide you. There are no rules. I'm not going to stop and say ये गलत है. This is wrong. Do it right, do it left. I just said कि तुम लोग जो देख रहे हो, make a cover version out of it. Tanu, again, like I said, I did not expect it, but it blew up. Like, I have students coming in. I'm actually doing this professionally, like dance. I'm giving workshops. I'm teaching. More opportunities came, my way, where people started calling me for their events. People started calling me for their, just hiring me. And I just said, okay, it's paying me. It's bringing me joy. I'm sharing this. So people took it very openly, and I did not stop again. I started picking
Right.
up little opportunities that were coming my way without judging them as small or big. I just said, it's giving me a chance to dance and I'm going to keep doing it. And I kept doing it, kept doing it. And now I can't imagine my life without these classes. I'm going to continue to do it. I meet so many interesting people, Tanu. Such interesting people. My French became better because I had to speak in French, during classes. So you see, everything just fell into place. So yeah, it is
Perfect.
very well accepted. Bollywood is very, very well accepted in Paris. And again, I got lucky. There are not too many Bollywood dancers here. So that also like got me recognition quicker. Yeah.
So I think overall, like one positive point was there was a support, Happy, as in, support system was like there for you. But what do you think? What message do you want to give to the people? When I keep on talking to, like, students in my colleges, my school. So I see we still have people in India, parents in India, who are not even like allowing students to choose the subject of their interest. So we are somewhere, we are still there. India is way ahead. I'm very sure today. But this mentality, what do you think? This mentality, how can, like, we convince our parents, or like, parents of our students today, to allow or accept what's flowing through the child, versus, like, being like really nervous about what your their kids, and not so confident about what the kids are trying to choose in their lives. Because had your parents not allowed you, maybe this journey wouldn't have existed. We wouldn't have been talking about this. So
All
any
exactly.
suggestions or anything you want to share?
What a lovely question, and something that we all need to speak about, Tanu, at such a deep level is this one life. And like Sadhguru says, right, who's felt this life like you? Only you yourself has felt all of this that you felt. बाकी कोई रहता ही नहीं है तुम्हारे साथ. तुम्हारी शादी भी हो जाए, तुम्हारे बच्चे भी हो जाए, तुम्हारे इन-लॉज भी हो जाए, तुम्हारे पेरेंट्स भी हो जाए, you're the only one by yourself with yourself. Now, I I think this I felt this feeling of regret when I was in Paris, when I was not being able to do what I wanted to do. And I remember this feeling of regret is the worst feeling because you feel it, you know. So you can take decisions in your earlier part of the, of your life saying, Acha, nahi, I'm going to do this 9 to 5 job. Even if my heart is telling me, dude, you are not meant for this job. I could have done this, Tanu, but I couldn't
Yeah.
have been able to live with this regret. I
Mm-hmm.
know that this would have eaten me up alive. So, what I want to
Yeah.
say is if you're okay with living with that regret later, if you know you're good at something, I think sabse pehle to a lot of us, we don't know what we are good at. Again, I got
Yeah.
damn lucky because I was born in a family of artists. So I think first is to understand कि आपको अच्छा क्या लगता है, for which you have to try different things. And once you know what you're good at, it is so important to stick to it because that will bring you soul fulfillment. The rest can give you money, which is great,
Yeah.
which will bring you abundance, which will give you comfort, which will bring you a lot of good things. But this soul fulfillment can only happen with anything that you know you like to do. And उस समय, hey, I want to tell parents that if you really care about your children, you've got to know where their happiness lies. Every day I wake up and I'm like, if Rudra wants to become a letter postman or like a cleaner or a huge artist or a big banker, I have no say in this. I have no say in what he wants
Yes.
to become because it is his life. He is going to feel all of the feelings that he's going to feel. So even if it takes a lot of courage and courage to go and tell your parents that I want to become an artist or I want to become a theater actor or I want to become a dancer, it's worth going through that awkward moment with your parents and making them understand over years versus going through the regret that उस दिन हम बात कर लेते अपने parents से, I wish that day I
Yeah.
would have told my mom, I would have gathered the courage to tell my mom, this is not what I'm meant to do, because it will suck you alive if you do anything else that you're not good at that will not give you happiness. It sucks you alive over time. Are you ready to face that regret? And it's very difficult to
Correct.
sit in there. So
Mm-hmm.
कुछ अच्छा लग रहा है और कुछ पता है that you're good at, you have to fight with everybody possible and go for it.
So for us, Bobby, right? I mean, I really wanted to interview you because I, more than what you shared, I wanted to share the energy that you have, right? I want our students to know this is the level of energy you should have when you are doing anything. You should feel that something that you're doing is your strength. You shouldn't feel like you mentioned, right? If you don't do what's flowing through you, you feel you are not so happy, your body is not supporting you. So they really want, they should know that this is the, as a person, this is how you should feel. So
You
the
totally
feeling
got
that I
that.
am getting, yes, the feeling that right now I'm getting, the energy that I'm seeing from you, I'm still like getting those vibes. I wanted to pass on all these vibes from you. I'm so selfish. I just wanted everything. I just want to share it everything with my students so that they really feel like what is success, what is happiness, where do I want to be at the end of my life. This is where I want to be. This should be the level of my energy, irrespective of what I am doing. Now, of course, they are very much exposed to, like, through internet. Thanks to internet, we are so much exposed today that we should definitely, our schools or colleges that are helping us, but we also need to take our stand to believe in
Absolutely.
ourselves, and that is the only way how the world will believe in ourselves. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much, Bobby. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
No, that's all I was saying. Such a beautiful note to finish this. अगर खुद को प्यार नहीं करोगे,
Yeah.
खुद पे विश्वास नहीं करोगे, how's the world gonna do it? You've got to do it because you've got this in you. We all have this in us. We are all magical beings. हम ये भूल जाते हैं, Tanu. So this is such a beautiful note.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Failing is and learning to fail also, Tanu. This is something that I'm constantly working on, and this has been my biggest learning to fail, because failing means that you have learned something. Think about it. If
Yeah.
you did not fail, you did not try it. And if you did not try, if you do
Yes.
not try, how the hell are you going to learn? So this learning to
Of
fail and
course.
constantly getting up and patting yourself on the back for your little achievements, no matter what the entire world is telling you otherwise, believing in yourself, I think, is the biggest My biggest strength, I think, is that every day when I'm down in the dumps, I'll tell myself, it's okay, man. You've got this. You know you've got this. Believe and trust. कोई नहीं करेगा नहीं तो और अगर खुद के लिए नहीं करोगे.
Of course. So, Bhavi, once again, thank you so much for sharing your time. I know it's a Saturday, and as you were sharing, your
It was
Saturdays are
beautiful.
equally very important for
You
you. You have a
no,
lot
you
to do.
recharged me. Thank you. You recharged me too, Tanu. And these interviews is one of the reasons where I feel like I'm going the right path. So thank you. And I
Of
wish I could
course.
inspire a few people.
I will definitely go more and more. I have so much to chat with you, but definitely in the next episode I'll give you the rest of your day to do your plan as per your day. But thank you so much once again. Lot of love, and we just really want 2 more minutes. Just show us a bit of Paris. I am since the start I've tried to show you some bit of Mumbai.
Of
Just show
course.
us a bit of
Guys, let me
Paris.
show you. It's a beautiful sunny day. I don't know what you can see, but let
Wow,
me. We live on the 19th floor. We have a lovely view of Paris. So
beautiful, beautiful.
that's Paris. I don't know. बहुत दूर Eiffel दिख रहा है कहीं. It's a little far away, but
Yes, but we are a sea. It's beautiful, beautiful Paris. Sunshine as well. Awesome.
let me
Thank you
show
so
you
much,
this
Bobby.
right.
Yeah, yeah. Yes,
One
yes.
second. Yeah, that's Paris for you guys.
And lovely breeze. I can even hear
Yes,
and
there's
feel it.
lovely breeze.
But such a beautiful house, I would say. Such a beautiful person. Like amazing Saturday, it was for us.
For
Thank you
me
so
too,
much for all
Tanu.
your time, and thank you for the energy that you have shared, Bobby. That is something I really wanted to have it from you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Tanu.
so much. You have a
Love.
great
Thank
weekend.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye. Take care.